Imagine you're a bright young chemistry student about to titrate a flask of concentrated sulfuric acid, only to slip on a stray drop and send a spray toward your glove. And in that split second, you realize that surviving acid experiments takes more than theoretical smarts. Your first line of defense is armoring up properly, chemical-resistant gloves, neoprene if you're using hydrochloric acid, Viton for strong oxidizers like nitric acid, a fully buttoned lab coat, sealed goggles, and a face shield. Example, at MIT, a graduate student once reached too casually for a bottle of HCl and splashed his forearm. He walked away unscathed only because he'd been wearing a double layer of nitrile over neoprene. When you handle acids, treat them like live grenades. Always work inside a fume hood or behind a sash. Pour acid into water slowly, never the reverse, using a glass stirring rod to direct the flow. Example, a Princeton undergrad learned this the hard way when she dumped water into a beaker of fuming oleum. Violent splattering sent droplets across the bench until she switched to the proper dilution technique. Should a spill occur, don't panic. Neutralize before you mop. Surround the acidic spill with sodium bicarbonate powder. Let it foam inwards, then sweep up with plastic scoops into labeled waste bags. Example, in a remote field lab, disaster was averted when a postdoc used his portable spill kit's neutralizing pads to tame a nitric acid leak in seconds, avoiding damage to sensitive equipment. If acid hits skin, it's a race against time. Rinse under the safety shower for at least 15 minutes, strip off contaminated clothes, and cover the area with sterile gauze. For hydrofluoric acid, which eats bone, you'll need calcium gluconate gel on hand to bind the fluoride. Example, a Stanford researcher suffered only a mild burn because her lab insisted on keeping HF antidote kits within arm's reach of every bench. Finally, make drills your best friend, blindfolded PPE donning, simulated spills with water, timed decontamination races, and peer-led first aid quizzes. Example, at a major pharmaceutical company, weekly acid attack drills cut emergency response time in half, turning what was once a panic scramble into a smooth, practiced routine. Because in chemistry, like firefighting, survival depends on reflexes honed before the real danger arrives. Strong acids dissociate almost completely in water, releasing high concentrations of hydronium ions that can corrode metals, denature proteins, and damage skin upon contact. Their reactive nature means even small spills can rapidly degrade surfaces and generate heat when neutralized or diluted. Understanding the physical and chemical properties such as pKa, vapor pressure, and oxidizing potential guides safe experiment design. Mastering these fundamentals minimizes surprises and ensures predictable outcomes. Concentrated sulfuric acid's high affinity for water makes it dangerously exothermic when added to water, necessitating slow, controlled addition. Handling concentrated acid is like pouring molten metal into water. If done too quickly, the rapid temperature change can cause violent splattering. The effective acid safety relies on layered defenses, chemical-resistant gloves, splash goggles, face shields, and acid-resistant lab coats. Fume hoods or local exhaust ventilation capture corrosive vapors, preventing inhalation injuries. Secondary barriers like acid trays and sealed reagent bottles catch accidental drips and contain leaks. Using these controls in combination drastically reduces exposure risk. When titrating hydrochloric acid, working inside a vented hood with nitrile gloves and goggles protects against both splashes and vapors. It's akin to wearing a raincoat, umbrella, and wellies in a storm. Each layer guards against different aspects of the downpour. Always add acid to water, never water to acid, to control the exothermic reaction that can cause boiling or spattering. Use a heat-resistant container and place it on an insulating pad to absorb heat. Stir continuously with a glass rod to disperse heat evenly. This protocol prevents localized hotspots that could rupture glassware or injure the handler. Slowly pouring 10 ml of concentrated nitric acid into 100 ml of water under stirring yields a safe, uniform dilution. It's like slowly stirring honey into hot tea rather than dumping tea into honey, which would clump and burn your hand. For small acid spills, less than 50 mils, first cordon off the area and don't appropriate PPE. Neutralize the acid by carefully sprinkling a weak base, e.g. sodium bicarbonate, until bubbling ceases, indicating pH has risen above 7. Collect the resulting salt slurry with absorbent pads and dispose of it in designated chemical waste. Large spills require evacuation and activation of the lab's chemical spill team. A 20 ml spill of hydrochloric acid on the benchtop can be neutralized with a teaspoon of baking soda, then wiped up with a damp paper towel. Addressing an acid spill is like dealing with a small grease fire by smothering it with baking soda rather than throwing water, which would spread the hazard. Store acids in corrosion-resistant cabinets, preferably vented, segregated by compatibility, e.g. oxidizing VSS non-oxidizing acids. Clearly label each container with the chemical name, concentration, hazard, pictograms, and date of receipt. Secondary containment trays prevent leaks from contacting other reagents. Regularly inspect bottles for corrosion or crystallization around caps that signal degradation. Phosphoric acid bottles kept in a dedicated acid cabinet with a raised lip and labeled corrosive oxidizer prevent accidental mixing with organics. It's like storing flammable and non-flammable cooking oils in separate sealed compartments to avoid accidental cross-contamination. Strong oxidizers, e.g., nitric or perchloric acid, can violently react with organic material and reducing agents. Always use dedicated glassware free of organic residues and avoid working near solvents. Conduct these experiments in fume hoods equipped with washdown capabilities, especially for perchloric acid, which forms explosive perchlorate salts on ductwork. After use, thoroughly rinse equipment to remove residual oxidizer. Perchloric acid digestions of metal samples require a specialized fume hood with a stainless steel washdown system to prevent salt buildup. Working with oxidizing acids is like handling fireworks indoors. Without proper containment and cleanup, residual sparks can ignite unexpected hazards. Before mixing acids with other reagents, consult compatibility charts. Incompatible pairings, e.g., sulfuric acid with perchloric acid, can generate heat or toxic gases. Use separate dispensing tools and avoid cross-contamination by dedicating glassware to specific acids. Store incompatible acids on different shelves or cabinets. Vigilant segregation prevents unintended, dangerous reactions. Hydrofluoric acid must be kept away from glassware and strong bases, or it can etch the container and release corrosive fluoride ions. It's akin to storing bleach and ammonia separately in home cleaning to prevent them from combining into deadly chloramine gas. Collect acidic waste in clearly labeled, corrosion-resistant containers equipped with vents to release built-up gas pressure. Neutralize or adjust pH if required by institutional chemical hygiene plans before disposal. Never pour concentrated acids down the drain without permission and proper dilution. Partner with licensed hazardous waste services to ensure legal and environmental compliance. A used solution containing 1 m sulfuric acid is pooled with lab neutralizer until pH reaches 7, then transferred to the chemistry department's waste pickup. Proper acid waste disposal is like returning used batteries to a recycling center. Rather than throwing them in household trash, if acid contacts skin or eyes, immediately flush the area with copious amounts of water for at least 15 minutes while removing contaminated clothing. Continue irrigation even en route to medical care, and avoid neutralizing on skin, as that can exacerbate burns. Seek professional medical evaluation promptly, as acids can penetrate deeply, causing delayed tissue damage. Quick, sustained flushing is the most effective measure to limit injury severity. A lab worker splashes 2-MHCl on their forearm. They rinse under a safety shower for 20 minutes before hospital treatment. It's like treating a hot grease burn. Running water soothes and cools the burn more effectively than applying ointment immediately.